In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to use the quadratic formula, right? So this is the formula used to solve for x whenever you're given an equation that is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0, right? So let's see how we can apply this quadratic formula in order to solve for x in exam type scenarios. So, given the equation, x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equals to 0. The traditional way to solve for x is where we identify that this is a trinomial, so we can factor out. So let's try the first method, then we'll use the quadratic formula, and you can see where we get the same answer. So, given the equation, x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equals to 0, right? This is a trinomial because it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So we can basically factorize this in the form of a trinomial. We can factorize that, right? Where we know which we can open up our two brackets and put x over there and x over there. We look for the factors of 3. What are the factors of 3? 3 and 1. But since there's a positive 2, I'm looking for a positive 2. The smaller one is going to get a negative, but the bigger one is going to get a positive. Reason why, and it's equals to 0. 3 times negative 1 will give me negative 3. But 3 minus 1 will give me what? Positive 2. So we met the conditions. Then you just swap the signs. X is equals to minus 3 or x is equals to 1, right? But there's another scenario in which we can use the quadratic formula. You use the quadratic formula in your calculator in order to get your final answer. But we first need to know how to plug the equation in the quadratic formula. Now, you must make sure that your equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Make sure that the x squared comes first, the x comes after, and then the constant comes last, right? Then that's when you plug in, right? You look at the numbers before the x's. You only look at the numbers before the x's, right? So this one is going to be my a. So a is equals to 1, right? And then b will be what? Minus 2. B is equals to minus 2. And then c is just going to be minus 3. Minus 3. And then this is how you're going to label it. And now you're going to plug all of these numbers into the quadratic formula. So how are you going to plug it? You're going to say x is equals to minus into, what's my b value? Minus 2 plus minus the square root of negative 2, since that's the b, and don't forget it's all squared. Put the brackets. Minus 4. What is my a value? 1. What is my c value? Minus 3, right? All over 2. And then what's my a value again? 1. And you put this in your calculator as it is. In the calculator, this is how you're going to type it. You're going to put a fraction sign. And you're going to put a minus, a bracket, then whatever number, negative 2, plus the square root of bracket negative 2 all squared minus 4 into 1 and negative 3. Just type it as it is. Don't try and simplify it. Just type it as it is. Over 2 and 1. That's how you type it in your calculator. So you're going to get a positive x answer. X is equals to 3. So x is equals to 3. Or, right, you go back to your calculator. And when you go back to your calculator, you just change the positive to a negative, right? You can't put e plus minus. So put the positive and then the negative. X is equals to negative 1. Let's try another example. So the first thing we should do is to make sure that it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. As you can see that it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So now we can apply the quadratic formula. So now let's check. What is my a value? My a value is 3. My b value is what? Minus 4. And my C value is what? Negative 7. Now, let's plug that in the formula over here. So x is equals to minus into my B value is negative 4 plus minus the square root of negative 4 all squared minus 4 into what's my A value? 3. And then what's my C value? Minus 7 all over 2 and 3. So let's plug this into the calculator. So we put a fraction sign, then it's going to be minus brackets minus 4 plus the square root of negative 4 all squared minus 4 into 3 and negative 7 all over 2 and 3. So what's my first x answer? My first x answer is 7 over 3. So x is equals to 7 over 3. So we just change the positive to a negative. Therefore, x is equals to negative 1. And those are your two final answers over there.